60 Minutes Rewind.
The genocide in Rwanda 12 years ago was the most efficient ever carried out. 800,000 people were slaughtered in 100 days. That's a better rate than the Nazis ever achieved, and it practically wiped out Rwanda's minority tribe. Those who managed to survive the mass murder did so with a combination of courage, cunning, and dumb luck. One incredible and inspiring survivor's tale has come to light only recently. It took Immaculée Ilibagiza, a college-educated young woman from a remote village, many years before she could confront the horrors she lived through. She's speaking out now, she says, to prevent further atrocities, not only in Rwanda, but in Darfur and other places where massacres loom on the horizon. In Rwanda, a green and hilly and tranquil-looking land, Immaculée saw something in the distance 12 years ago and realized life would never be the same.
And I remember looking up to the hill next, across to the river, and I saw somebody actually with a machete cutting somebody. And we were all like, wow, something's happening here. They're going to kill us.
You saw it over there?
Over there, with somebody. You can still see a person was cutting, and somebody was screaming. And look at the...
People were screaming all over the country. The genocide had begun. It was extremely low-tech, no gas chambers here, just machetes, spears, and knives, wielded by Hutus, the majority tribe, as they tried to wipe out the minority Tutsis. There were no organized roundups as there had been in Nazi Germany. Tutsis were slaughtered in their tracks wherever they were found. The killing fields were everywhere. When it was over, 3 out of every 4 Tutsis in Rwanda had been killed. When it began, Immaculée's father told her to run to a minister's house 3 miles away and to beg him to hide her. The minister was a Hutu, a member of the majority tribe that was killing the Tutsis, but he'd been a friend of the family's, and he was a minister.
And I went to him, I was shaking. I told him my father asked me to come here because things are getting really bad in our village. And he took me and said, come.
He put Immaculée and 6 other women in a tiny, rarely used bathroom in a remote corner of the house, hidden not only from intruders, but from the minister's large family. They showed us how they did it. Immaculée and the other tall women sat with their backs against the wall. They pulled the smaller girls down on top of them. They couldn't all move at the same time.
So when he took us in the bathroom, I was like, oh my God, I will be saved here. This bathroom is so hidden that we're going to be saved.
You thought, this is my salvation?
Really,
You didn't think, how are we all going to fit in there?
No, that was another question. I was trying to fit in any hole I can, just to hide.
They took turns standing and stretching. 7 women in this bathroom, 3 feet by 4 feet, for 91 days. They've been out of here for 12 years now, but being back brought back the horror. Sometimes at night, when they couldn't take it anymore, they retreated into this larger room adjacent to the bathroom.
So show me how you would be when you were in this room.
But it was more dangerous in here. Killers lurked just outside the window, so the women couldn't stand up or talk.
They were searching, they were there all the time. It was constantly intense. Intense.
Several people had seen the Tutsi women arrive at the pastor's house, but no one had seen them leave. So after a few days, dozens of Hutus stormed the house, hoping to find the women and kill them.
There's a little window in the bathroom. I went up and I looked through the curtains, and I saw like people running, coming
inside the house?
Inside the house. And we heard them. I can see the spears.
They brought their spears into the house?
In the house. I never been so scared in my life. I remember it was like life swept out of your body in a second. I became dry instantly. I couldn't even find saliva to swallow.
Pastor Simeon Nahabimana showed us how he tried to divert the killers away from the women. He showed them other bedrooms and urged them to search his attic.
And he was telling them, I sent them away. Those girls, I sent them away. They can help themselves. I don't want to be in trouble.
The first time the killers came here to search your house, did you think they were going to find the women and kill everyone, including yourself?
Yes, I thought so. I thought that if they had seen them, they would have forced me to kill them, or they would have killed me and killed them as well.
You think they might have forced you to kill them?
That's what they did elsewhere. Wherever they found somebody hiding people, they forced them to kill them, and afterwards, they also killed the person.
The door was always closed.
During the first search, one killer actually put his hand on the door leading to the bathroom, but he never opened it. After that, the pastor showed us how he moved a bureau in front of the door to hide it from future searchers. Everything outside the bathroom where Immaculée and the others were huddled, the entire country, had become a killing field. Hutus armed with machetes searched every house, every hill, and killed every Tutsi they could find. What prompted the genocide? There are things you can point to. The Hutus had long-standing resentments against the Tutsis who formed the nation's elite. They had the better houses, better jobs. Radio Rwanda broadcast calls day and night for the Hutus to go out and kill Tutsis. And the Hutus were told by their own leaders that if they didn't join the killers, they would join the dead. There are these things you can point to, but do they explain what happened? What could possibly explain what happened? Here's one explanation from one killer who'd been Immaculée's neighbor. Alex Nibiruki spent 11 years in prison after admitting he killed 6 people.
They told me that I would be rewarded with a piece of land and a banana plantation. They told the same to other people, but you see, they didn't give me any banana plantation.
They told you would be rewarded with a banana plantation if you did what?
They told us to kill, and we killed. We just did it.
What exactly did you do?
I got my machete and a nail-studded club and started killing.
He killed his neighbors and told us he had nothing against any of them. 2 were Immaculée's second cousins. How did you kill them?
I chopped one with a machete and killed the other one with the nail-studded club.
He'd grown up with Immaculée, been her family's handyman, but if you and the others had found Immaculée during the killings, would you have killed Immaculée too?
Because of the way I was, I would have attacked her definitely.
For days, then weeks, then months, these 7 women stayed squeezed into the tiny bathroom surrounded by evil. Immaculée, what went through your minds when you were sitting here hour after hour after hour?
How they're going to catch us, where they will start cutting you, if they will rape you first. You know, it's like thinking about
In other words, thinking terrified thoughts.
Exactly. And
so you were terrified all the time you were in there.
completely. And
They all expected to be killed, eventually. One said she just hoped she'd be shot and not tortured. Another made the pastor promise to put dirt on her corpse so dogs wouldn't eat her. And what did the women have to eat? Not much.
I remember sometimes we used to eat just like beans, and there's this little insect that come out of beans. I'm like, Jesus, how am I going to eat it?
But then you manage after a while.
Yeah, then I'm like, okay.
When you're hungry, you'll eat anything.
Yeah, I close my eyes, and then I did. Yeah.
Still, Immaculée said she lost 40 pounds, that 1/3 of herself disappeared during her 3 months in the bathroom.
I was completely a skeleton. I remember myself thinking, looking at my hands, and I was like, this is what the biologist used to tell us. You know, we have a skeleton like this. Because it was completely like, I can see every bone.
When you looked at yourself, you were your own anatomy lesson.
Completely. It was shocking.
Also shocking, to keep their presence secret from others in the house, they couldn't flush their toilet unless someone else in the house flushed the toilet on the other side of their wall. And they couldn't bathe. So for 3 months you couldn't wash at all?
At all. We didn't have any next clothes or any toothbrush to brush our teeth, nothing. We couldn't.
Once when the killers came into the house searching for you, you actually heard one of the killers shout your name?
Yeah, I did, yeah. I heard somebody calling my name. That he said actually that he have killed 399 cockroaches. And he wanted me to be the 400.
Cockroaches is what the Hutus called the Tutsis.
I'm like, oh my gosh. I was so scared that he knows where I am. He's so sure. It was like dying alive, really. When I remember the pain of that place, it was like every day you are like, something is dying slowly, dying thousands of times, yeah.
'Cause 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 'cause
The story will continue after this.
The pastor left his bedroom radio on so the women could hear the news. After 3 months of genocide, they heard that French troops had finally arrived in Rwanda to protect surviving Tutsis, and that one French camp was just a few miles away. Immaculée persuaded the pastor to sneak them there in the middle of the night.
2 in the morning.
2 in the morning, yeah. That was a liberation day, really.
Liberation Day.
Yeah.
How did
Yeah.
you do it?
Yeah, we stood up, first of all, never really much standing up, if I can remember. I remember fixing my knees, like I couldn't walk.
But they managed to walk and run, concealed by the night, to the French compound.
And when we reached the gate, I was like, we are Tutsi, please help us. So he said, okay, come in. We went in. For the first time in 3 months, I saw somebody genuinely having pity on us.
She was safe, but soon sorry because Immaculée learned that her 2 brothers and her mother and father had all been killed. Her father had been shot trying to get food for his neighbor's children.
And then we took his body to put it on the roadblock.
They took your father's body to put on a roadblock.
Yeah.
So your father's body became part of a roadblock.
Roadblock, yeah.
After 100 days, a Tutsi army formed in exile had captured most of the country and stopped the genocide. Today, Tutsis are still in control and are sharing power with Hutus. The economy is coming back. Hundreds of thousands of Tutsis have come back from exile. And these dancers are singing that tourists should come back too. The country may be peaceful, but it's still on edge. Some Hutus want to resume the genocide. Some Tutsis still want revenge. Immaculée knows Rwandans can never forget, but she believes they must forgive. Revenge, she told us, only prolongs the pain.
And I don't want it. I don't want them, after killing my family, to give me this luggage in my heart, in my belly, to hold this anger.
So she has even forgiven Alex, the man who killed 2 of her relatives and who would have killed her.
You didn't feel angry when you saw him, not at all?
No, I was.
You weren't tempted to take his head and shake it against a brick wall?
No, I completely, in my heart, I was aware that it won't do anything, it won't change anything, it won't change his heart, it won't bring people he killed. That's
No, but
the
it might have
worst thing.
felt good.
It doesn't. That's the funny thing. It won't. I know well.
Now she's a woman on a mission to spread the story of the genocide, hoping it can prevent future atrocities. She's written a book, she's giving lectures. She's determined to stop the inevitable revisionists who claim the genocide never happened.
You started to hear on radios people denying that it wasn't genocide. And that almost takes your breath away. Like, what I have lived is not a genocide. What is a genocide? Every child, every woman, every man, Tutsi, at least in my village, as I have seen, is dead.